Welcome to the Hockey Writers What's Kraken, a weekly show with our top Seattle Kraken writing crew, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, game results, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from the first ever puck drop to their future rivalries, our team covers everything that happens with the Kraken. So sit back, relax, and get ready to find out what's Kraken.
Welcome to the THW What's Kraken show, hosted by me, Tom Pepper, Sean Raggio, Adam Kierszenblat. Presented by the Hockey Writers, we talk Seattle Kraken hockey every week on iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to check out our written work at thehockeywriters.com and follow the show on Twitter at What's Kraken Show, as well as our personal accounts at Tom Pepper, at Raggio9124, and at Adam Kierszenblat. So I am back now. I was off at a curling tournament and I had some practices leading up to that. So I'm back now this week and I'm very excited to talk Kraken hockey. We finally can talk about a win again. So how have your weeks been, guys? I'll go to you first, Sean.
I was trying to think of an answer to this and I honestly don't remember. I feel like the past week has been a blur. It honestly feels like yesterday I was back on this. It's been all right. Just saw some family over the weekend, hung around, caught some hockey. Played some pickup on Saturday. Yeah, so it's been good.
Good stuff. How you been, Adam?
I mean, everything surrounding Vancouver sports is just chaos at the moment. So, it's been interesting. So, I'm sure that the other Vancouver Canuck writers can attest to some of the comments that we're getting on our articles. Not the nicest of comments, but yeah, it's an interesting time in the in BC. That's for sure when it comes to sports, because just nothing is going right for really anybody.
No, it's not the best time for Vancouver sports. You just made me think of the that Connor Garland clip from the other day with the
BC Lions did win, but they were so far out of the playoffs that it didn't matter.
Oh man. Yeah, well, like I said, my week's just pretty much I've just been curling pretty much. And we went up to the weekend, we went off to Guelph and we played, we won one, lost one, and tied one. So it was a fairly even day and my legs were extremely sore the next day, but I still went out and played beer league. So nice. My legs are about ready to fall off, but I think I will survive. So
big team guy.
Yeah. Let's dive into it here. So like we said at the start, we have a win now. So the Kraken snapped their 6-game losing streak against the Washington Capitals of all teams. So obviously a very good team. They've got a veteran there. 1-5-3. They were perfect on the penalty kill, 4-for-4, and perfect on the power play, 1-for-1. So this team pretty much looked to me like a very different team than we've been seeing recently, especially the game before. If you remember, against the Colorado Avalanche didn't go so well. They were down 6-0 after 2 periods. They suddenly came to life in the third period, but ended up losing that game 7-3, which is not a pretty score. But the Kraken really actually looked good in my eyes against this Washington team. So I want to get your thoughts on this. What did you think of their performance against Washington? I'll go to you first, Sean.
Well, I have to give a little bit of a mea culpa ahead of this because I was watching the start of this at my Aunt Donna and Uncle Augie's house. And right after the Kraken tied it up, he goes, "Hey, they scored." And I go, "They're going to lose." So they definitely made me eat those words. I was very surprised. I thought they looked pretty good. They looked like the team that we thought they were going to be. The 1-for-1 on the power play was a bit, they only have one chance to go on it, but that was a bit surprising. The power play has been being a bit better of late, but Schwartz had 4 points. 9 Kraken players had points, including 1-1 for Gordon Yarncroke, who finally scored, and it was a beauty. So I think that maybe they were playing. It takes someone above you to make you play better, if that makes sense. I think the term is playing up to that talent. And I think that that's what's going to make these next 3 games against Carolina, Tampa, and Florida very interesting to watch.
Yeah, and including the list of skaters that you mentioned had great nights. Philip Grubauer really came to life. He stopped 37 of 39 shots for a .949 save percentage. his best of the season. And, it kind of gives you some more confidence because he's really struggled through the start of the season. And a lot of people have been questioning Hackstall's use of him. I personally thought he's been overplayed to start the season. And I thought Drieger should have got a bit more time after his injury. Maybe that was because he was still struggling with stuff. But there you go. Grubauer comes against the team he won the Stanley Cup with in 2018 and just puts on an absolute beauty of a performance. So it could be a sign that he's back. And so I want to ask you, Adam, do you think this could be like a turning point for the Kraken in their season? Do you think they can build off this momentum, or do you think this was just a great night?
Well, one thing that we also have to remember with this game is that Washington did play the night before. They beat San Jose 4-0 the night before. So this there's a term called scheduled wins where you should win a game when the opponent is coming on a back-to-back and there's travel involved. So yeah, this was, it was a good night. Washington didn't play their best because they were obviously tired from the night before. Ovechkin still got his goal because it's year 15 of Alex Ovechkin, and he's going to score against every team. It doesn't matter what you do. But there are some positives that came out of this game in that, the penalty kill was 4-for-4. Washington does have one of the most deadly power plays, maybe in NHL history, with how they set up. When they have Backstrom, Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and John Carlson all on the ice. Like, that's a power play that can go up against most power play units in history, probably. So the fact that they went 4-for-4 on the penalty kill is something positive. Don't really put too much stock in the 1-for-1 on the power play. If it was 3-for-3 or something like that, if there was more than one opportunity, then we can kind of look into that. But James Schwartz finally breaking out with 4-point game. The lines seem to be working. Adam Larson got a goal in the game. So everything kind of clicked for this team, and it was nice to see. Also, we got the touching tribute to Vanacek before the game, the week-long Kraken that, which still baffles me why they picked him.
We miss him.
Yeah, if they knew that they were going to have Drieger, I don't understand why they picked them, but that's another whole tangent that we can go down on another day. But yeah, we'll see what happens. These emotional wins, it's an emotional win because they lost 6 in a row. So they beat Washington, which is great. Now let's see what they can do against Carolina, who is arguably the best team in the NHL right now.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I think's interesting to bring up is how the Kraken were able to fight back after going down 1 goal, which they've really struggled with getting that first goal this season. And they pretty significantly beat the Capitals. It wasn't that close of a game. They really had control of that game for almost a full 60 minutes. And it was really refreshing to see that, because as we've seen this season, it's been too little too late for the Kraken quite a few times. And they actually came out, they took the momentum from the third period against the Avalanche before, and they took it into the next game, and they really honestly put on maybe their best performance of the season. I was really impressed. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm looking in the notes now, and of course we got to bring up the next 3 games are against the Hurricanes, Lightning, and Panthers. So that's not pretty to look at for the Kraken. But hey, if they get some confidence from that Capitals win, maybe they can compete with these guys. Okay, we'll move on to discussion 2 now. So Jordan Eberle, right now, is the team's goal scoring leader. He didn't have any points against the Capitals the other night, which ended his 7-game point streak, but he's really impressed this year. So I'm going to hand it off to Adam now. And what have you thought of Eberle? And do you think it was a mistake for the Islanders to give him up?
Yeah, so in the morning skate edition on Tuesday, November 23rd, there was columns about X's and, was it the right move to get rid of that X? In some cases in life, when you have an X, it takes a little bit of time to get over them. And the Islanders seem to be having that problem with Jordan Eberle right now. They are bottom of the Metro division. They have a minus 16 goal differential. This does have to do with the fact that they played 13 games on the road, but they also can't score goals. That's a problem. Eberle last year, he was tied for third on the team with 33 points in the regular season. He had 11 points in 19 playoff games on their way to the Eastern Conference Final. So, it does ask questions. The Islanders decided to pick Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin to protect over Jordan Eberle. So was that the right move? And are the Islanders regretting that decision, looking at what Eberle's been able to do in Seattle so far?
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, he's first in goals on the team right now, and he's second in points now behind Jaden Schwartz after his monster night the other night. So 14 points, 9 goals and 5 assists in 18 games. Is a pretty impressive, also considering how slow of a start he had to the season. He's kind of just really turned it on as of late, and he's been finding the back of the net pretty frequently. So it's very relieving for Kraken fans to see that, because there were quite a few worries at the start of the season. Sean, how about you? What do you think about this? Do you think the Kraken were the Kraken right for taking Eberle from the Islanders, and do you like his deal for the next few seasons at 5.5 million AAV for the next 3 years?
I think he was the right choice from the Islanders, just because, he developed more of a two-way game with Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello on the island, but he was a sniper before that. And they need goal scoring in that lineup, which was one of the things that we were harping on for so many games early in the year when he was having trouble scoring. That 5.5 AAV, it's more than what I think was the other top option from the Islanders, Josh Bailey. It's $500,000 more per year, and he's got 2 years left after this one, Bailey, on his contract. So I think that the contracts are kind of negligible because of that, A, and B, if the cap goes up even a little bit, 5.5 isn't as bad as it looks, I feel. And if he's going to end up being a top scorer, now granted, if the top scorers for the Kraken are 50 points and 20 goals, and he's your top scorer, he's still your top scorer. I think that that's fine. And 2 years left, 1 year left, this could become a trade piece down the line, especially if his play starts to dip and he could be a third, fourth line scorer on a, contending team, then you could get something back for that.
And I think it's also exciting to kind of think of this Schwartz and Eberle duo. I know we've seen flashes of it before, and now the two of them are leading the team in points. So it's really starting to come for light. Both of them, again, had very slow starts to the season and just kind of really turned it on as of late. I think this team's starting to build confidence, and it's clearly showing with Eberle and Schwartz. So it is going to be very exciting to see how the rest of the season goes.
We'll see what happens. Eberle, he is a clutch performer. Maybe down the stretch he's going to heat up a bit and make this thing a little bit interesting. Everybody remembers, well, hopefully, people in Canada remember his last second goal at the World Juniors maybe not a couple years ago now, probably close to a decade now. But yeah, like this guy, he knows how to score big goals. He was huge for the Islanders last season. And yeah, we'll see what he's able to do for the Kraken, especially when those games start getting more important in February and March, hopefully.
And just before we jump to the next topic, just because these guys are starting to come to life now and starting to turn things around now, what do you guys think about the chances of the Kraken still being able to compete for a playoff spot? Would you still say the season would you still throw the towel in the bag, or do you think this season still has some life to it? Sean?
You came to me first with this one. I was wrestling with this one a bit. I feel like they need, aside from the fact that they obviously need to start winning and winning fast and winning a lot of games very quickly, I think that they need a lot of other teams to go south. I had them making the playoffs based on the California teams just bowing out and not even being a thought this year, and that's clearly not the case. I think that they can turn it around and make it a competitive season and play meaningful hockey at the end of the year. But if, a team like the Ducks or even LA keeps playing well enough even, then I don't see them making the postseason, as sad as that would be.
Yeah, it is very interesting because going into the season, we were looking at the Pacific Division as maybe being a blessing almost for the Kraken because it was going to be a bit easier competition. But the teams have really blown people away. Anaheim's having a lot of success. LA's having success. San Jose. The Oilers are having a great season as well. Calgary. It's actually turned into quite a stacked division. So if the Kraken do want to battle back, it is going to be very tough. And again, like you mentioned, they're going to need some of those teams to squander and start having poor results. They've done great to start the season. But what do you think, Adam? Do you think there's any chance of the playoffs for the Kraken, or do you think this season's is all done?
I think that Kraken fans should be paying attention to the U18s this year to see how Matthew Savoy, Simon Nemec, and Connor Geeky are doing. Yeah.
There's your answer.
And paying attention to our coverage of it too.
Well, it'll be exciting to see how it goes. Obviously, it's not that early in the season anymore. We're about a quarter of the way through. So if something was going to change, it would pretty much have to be turning around right after that Washington Capitals win. So yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you think the season can be saved, or if you think it's over.
And tweet us.
Yeah. Our new Twitter handle, of course, is @What'sKrakenShow. Well, okay. So discussion number 3 is we wanted to discuss a bit of a tradition that's been established at Seattle Kraken home games, which I personally think is very cool, and I've loved it. It's too bad I watch it on TV, so I don't often get to see it. But thank you to social media, I do get to watch it. But the salmon toss is something that the Kraken have started to do, and it's inspired by Pike Place Market. So it's obviously tradition there for the fishermen to throw fish between each other, and the Kraken have kind of brought that in to their game day experience by using plush stuffed salmon for the 3 stars of the game to throw into the crowd. So I'll go to you first, Adam. What are your thoughts on this tradition? Do you like it, or do you think it's weird?
Well, Tom, to be fair, not a lot of people have seen it who have gone to games as well. So you're not the only one who's missed out on watching the salmon toss occur.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. It's good. It's cool when these teams can incorporate something that is so unique to that city. They're not going to throw like fake coffee cups into the stands. So the salmon toss is really one of those things that is identified as a must-see thing when you go to Seattle. Pike's Place Market. It's fantastic to go there. You order. There's fish tossers. So what happens is that you order a fish, and then they throw it back and forth to each other. You can even catch the fish or throw it. There's an option there as well. A couple of years ago, there was I think it was a Monday Night Football game in Seattle, and somebody caught a fish with one hand. So this is something that is Seattle. People in Seattle love, and it's just cool to watch. How cool is it to say, hey, I went to a Seattle Kraken game and got a salmon? It's something unique. It's not it's something that not a lot of teams do. I know that, and we've had it where you throw where the 3 stars give sticks or pucks or something like that. But this is something very unique, and full credit to the Kraken, I guess, marketing team or whoever came up with this for this fantastic idea.
Agreed. I think it's such a fun idea, and I dream of one day getting one of those plush salmon thrown at me from the crowd. But it is a pretty interesting tradition. I'm happy the Kraken have gone this route, and they've put a lot of emphasis on the game day experience, and they've said it's going to continue to get better as things start to go. And this is obviously a great and fun start to what could be one of the best game day experiences in the NHL once they really get everything going. So, but I'll ask you too, Sean. What do you think of this? The salmon toss?
Well, I said I wanted this team to be fun, and it's definitely fun, but I want to fast forward with you guys for a second. Let's jump in the time machine and go to Friday, April 1st at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. The Vegas Golden Knights play the Seattle Kraken at Climate Pledge Arena. April Fool's Day, they use a real salmon. Maybe not throw it, but toss that to a fan. I don't know. The lucky fan gets they'll do a promotion. The lucky fan who gets the salmon gets a chef with it. They cook it up. Get some sushi.
Not a bad idea.
I don't know. Some sushi for the road after a win. I would be down for that. I know a lot of people who would be down for that, especially for salmon. I love me some salmon. I think it's great, and I think that it would be fantastic if they did something for April Fool's Day.
You'll have to pitch it to them. Yeah, I've honestly, from just what I've seen on TV, I mentioned this before on the show. I'm a little underwhelmed with how little they show of it on TV, but I don't know if that's maybe they're just trying to get people to go down there. Because again, if you live in Seattle and you haven't been to Climate Pledge Arena, you've got to go there. I cannot wait to go there and see that arena. It looks absolutely beautiful. And every time when they rarely show the video boards or the window or anything on TV, it is really breathtaking what they've done there. And it's just, I think another one of the really cool things is the fact it's built underground. How many places build their arenas underground? There's so many cool features about this arena that are, yeah.
My alma mater. You walk down, so it's up on a hill. It's on York Hill in Hamden, Connecticut. You go down, you walk into the arena, and on the left there's a basketball court that you walk down to the court, or to the right there's a hockey rink for the men's, women's ice hockey teams. So it's kind of similar in the sense that you could literally be standing up above outside looking in through the doors to the ice, which I always thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also thought that that Michigan or Michigan State, one of them, their football stadium's built underground as well.
It's a
really
great
cool. I've never been to an underground stadium, so
jersey background. You could see it. I don't know. Well, Quinnipiac jersey.
Yeah, I'm loving everything the Kraken are doing so far with this. I don't know. Again, I haven't been to a game there. I live in Toronto, but some other things I just wanted to put in the notes that I think are interesting that could really improve the game day experience are light shows, because I know at the Maple Leafs, it's a huge part of the experience. Before the game starts, before the puck drop, before the anthem, they have just the coolest things when you watch it, and they've got the music going, the lights are off, and they've got lights going around all the circles, and it really just it's just quite an experience. And I hope they're doing that in Seattle. I know the game in Vegas for Seattle's first ever game, they had a cool Kraken ice thing, which was nice. And also the mascot, which we still haven't gotten to see yet. So
you're asking for that on Twitter. I see you.
I know. I ask every few games, and they still haven't done it yet. I don't know. Do you think there's a mascot coming, or you think I should just give up my hopes?
I think that you might be waiting till next year.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of superheroes and haven't watched the Vancouver Canucks opening yet, that's one to watch for sure. It gets a little bit repetitive because they don't switch it up ever. So I've seen it twice already live. The first time was really cool. The second time I was like, okay, I don't have to see this again. But yeah, it's there's so much stuff that you can do with these players. I know that they only have limited amount of time, but CGI exists. You just need the player's face, really. So it's the Seattle Kraken have hit every note so far when it comes to in-game experience, except for the fact that you need to mortgage your house to eat at the arena. But yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully we get the weird tentacle monster Seattle Kraken mascot that we're all hoping for.
I'm hoping it's a weird one.
Weird is fun. We're all weird.
Yes.
We're all pretty fun.
All right. Any last words on the Kraken? Any What do you guys think about the next 3 games coming up this week? Just before we head off here, what do you think the record is going to be? So again, you got the Hurricanes, the Lightning, and the Panthers. What are they coming out of that with? You want to go first, Adam?
I mean, it seems like a death march. They play back-to-back, Tampa and Florida in Florida. So it's like, good luck. You know, you're probably going to get run out of the building in one of these 3 games. You know, we try not to be negative, but it's like, in a realistic world, like, they're really going to hold up. Their defense and goaltending is going to hold up for 3 games against 3 of the top teams in the league. With 2 of those games being a back-to-back in across the country, like in a realistic world, it's kind of like this could be a rough week for the Kraken for sure.
It definitely could be. I think it's going to be a good experience for them, honestly, and I'm kind of excited because right at the end of that 3-game stint against those tough teams, I get to go watch them in Buffalo against the Sabres. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully they'll dip from that super tough competition and play against the Buffalo Sabres and get a win for me. But I'm not expecting too much.
One note about Wednesday's game, you know, versus Carolina. Carolina is a good team, but they got this kid named Seth Jarvis. I don't know if you guys have heard of him yet. Former Portland Winterhawk. Loves to score against the Seattle Thunderbirds in the WHL. Has had a lot of success playing in Seattle and beating Seattle teams. So that's not a good omen going into tomorrow's game. You know, Seth Jarvis, he just sees that sign that says "Welcome to Seattle," and he seems to just burst into flames basically on the ice.
Burst into flames. I like that. That was poetic. I think I'm nervous for these games. If I were a Kraken, you know, if I was a Kraken fan, I'd be very nervous. I don't know why, and I'm totally on the Panthers bandwagon, but I just can't. I don't know. I feel like I can't get away. My whole upbringing into hockey, the Panthers were just like an easy win. The Panthers were the team that had more fans of the other team than their own fans in the building. So part of me feels like of all games, they'll somehow find a way to pull that out. I do see a note here predicting who would be the next. It said who will toss a salmon after the game on Wednesday, and I'm not so sure there will be a salmon toss Wednesday, but I'm calling out Colin Blackwell for the next salmon toss.
Ooh.
1-1-2 so far this year. He had an assist last game, and I love that guy. I just love Colin Blackwell. I do. Great story, great versatile player, and you know, I hope they bring him back. I'm pretty sure it's the last year of his deal, and if they don't bring him back, I hope he goes to a contender. I really do.
Good stuff. All right, we will wrap it up here. So thank you for tuning into this week's episode of THW What's Kraken. We hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to next week as we'll be breaking down any Seattle Kraken news and rumors that come up over the next few days. Again, make sure to check out our written work at thehockeywriters.com and follow the show on Twitter at What's Kraken Show, as well as our personal accounts at Tom Pepper, at Raggio9124, and at Adam Kierszenblat. From Tom, Sean, and Adam, this has been THW What's Kraken.